What's up, everyone? My name is Joe Suro. Man, I'm so excited to launch this YouTube channel. Thank you for joining. Do me a favor, if you like this content, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family as we engage in today's topic of leadership. I decided that my first video, I was going to talk about something that I'm pretty familiar with, which is leadership. I've been a youth pastor now for over 10 years, and I've experienced the ups and the downs of leadership. And so I just want to talk to you for a few minutes today. Maybe you're curious about where you are in leadership. What are some good leadership practices, and what are some bad leadership practices? Well, you've come to the right place. I hope you enjoy this, and we're just going to dive right in. Well, the first question is, what is leadership, right? We've got to define terms of what leadership is, and we've got many people that could define what the terminology of leadership is according to their books or messages or personal philosophies. And we've got John Maxwell, for one, leadership guru. He says that leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less, that it's strictly influence. I've also heard that leadership typically goes like leaders go first. Okay, so in leadership, leaders go first. So they're the first ones at the table. They're the first ones to jump off the diving board. They're just the ones that lead the way. I've also heard leadership described as a characteristic, as comedically as it is, there's a person that is in leadership that you just see eating a burger, and you just want to eat that burger the way that leader eats that burger, right? They just have something about them, their characteristic, their nature, who they are, right? Yeah, it's got influence, but they have such a disposition. And so I don't know if I came up with it, but one of my definitions that I put on leadership is not a title, it is a behavior. Leadership is not a title, it's a behavior. And before we can really get to the behavioral part, right, I think one of the fundamental things about leadership is it requires a servant's heart. If we just for a moment look at the aspect of Jesus in the Bible, Jesus says that he came to serve, not to be served. I mean, one of the things that he did was wash his disciples' feet, dirty feet he washed, because he came to serve them. And I think if we really want to grow in our leadership, it's not about the position, it's not about the title, right? It's not about the promotion, it's about serving. This is for inside the church and ministry and outside as well. Maybe you're watching this and you work at Chick-fil-A, or you work a secular job, and you're all about the title, the promotion, the money, and and obviously you want to get paid for what you do. But if you do it in your heart's content and serve with no strings attached, I'm telling you, doors will open for you because there's a genuineness about you. Okay, so to lead means to serve, and not just to serve, but to serve well. I know people that serve and they don't serve well. They're not kind to people when they do specific things, picking up trash, taking out trash, putting up chairs, whatever it may be, even helping other people in a serving nature. They've got a bad attitude, they're complaining, and they're not serving well. So I want to challenge you that if you really want to be an exemplary leader, be a great servant, serve people well. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr., he said this: anybody can be great because anybody can serve. Anybody can be great because anybody can serve. I love that quote. And sometimes in serving others, we've got to get out of our comfort zone, right? And I think the first person that we have to lead is ourselves. Okay, so let's just, as we go back to the behavioral aspect of it, okay, we've got to lead ourselves well first. When we lead ourselves well first, then we're going to be able to lead others well. But if we're not building habits, if we're not being able to really serve others from a genuine place, then, we can lead, but we're not going to lead well. And if we don't lead ourselves well, we're really not going to lead anybody else well. This is how leadership works, right? Leadership is essentially taking people places that you have gone to already, right? So if you're in leadership, you're a leader, that means that people are following you, okay? And if you're trying to take somebody somewhere you've never been, okay, that's not leadership, okay? There's something about this particular video that I want everyone to understand, is that you don't produce what you say, you produce who you are. And so who you are speaks louder than your words. And people will follow you, not necessarily your words, they'll follow you. And leadership is both good and bad. You can lead people great, right? You can be the leader of your household, leader of your family, leader of yourself really well, be disciplined or not, right? You can lead with laziness, right? You can lead with complaining. You can lead with an attitude, right? And so many other different things that will not just impact you, but impact others. And that's something in terms of leadership that we also have to come to grips with is in leadership, if we lead ourselves poorly, it's going to affect other people. It's not just an individualistic mindset where, okay, I'm bad or I'm doing this wrong. It's not going to impact anyone else. That's not true. If you got family, you got friends, you got coworkers, how you are in your day to day, how you are mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually will impact other people as well. So that's why I go back to leadership is not a title, it's a behavior. It should be who you are, whether good or bad. We're all leaders, whether we want to be or not. We're good. We are leaders. We're leading something. We're leading someone. And if you're not now, at some point you will. Okay. And so that doesn't mean that you're going to be a manager. That doesn't mean you're going to be the next president. That doesn't mean that. But we lead different things, whether it's a project, whether it's your family, whether it's your kids, right? Whatever that may be, you will have opportunities in life to lead. And I hope that you lead well. And as you lead, if you do ever have the opportunity to have teams around you, just understand there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. Okay, there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. So leaders take ownership. Okay, if you're a leader, you take ownership. Okay, you come to grips with that. If a project fails, man, it rests on your shoulders, right? The poor attributes of a leader is to blame it on other people. Is to say, because Johnny dropped the ball, that's why this project failed. Because Susie did this, that's why this didn't go very well, right? We tend to blame others why things fail, but leaders don't blame others. We take the blame. We take responsibility. We own it. As a matter of fact, if you want to know even more about extreme ownership, I mean, Jocko Willink, a previous U.S. Navy SEAL. I mean, I have his book. I've read his book. It's amazing. It's incredible. He goes through those particular things as well as far as talking about leadership and how we should own that in our day-to-day life. And I just want to speak to maybe the Christ follower, you're watching this today. Maybe you're a business owner or you're an entrepreneur watching this right now and you're not a Christ follower. But if you are a Christ follower, I just want to say this as well. And hopefully, if you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, or someone else that's not a Christ follower, man, that you would make that a priority in your life to accept Jesus. He is awesome and amazing, and I can't wait to even dialogue with you all even more about who he is on a separate video. But for the sake of this video, if you are a Christ follower, listen to me. In order to be a better leader, you must be a better follower of Christ. In order to be a better leader, you must be a better follower of Christ. Why? Because he sets the greatest example of what leadership looks like, to serve and to lead well. He was healthy in all that he did, okay? So when we see what Jesus has done, we can model those actions in our own lives, right? And develop that pattern, okay? Because actions repeated become habits realized. Actions repeated become habits realized. So the more we do and taking our next step and developing our leadership abilities, they will form habits, okay? And let's make sure that we're taking the next step in good habits and not bad habits, okay? And so some habits here, right, are spending time with God. That is important. If you really want to be a leader, especially in the church and ministry, and even outside of ministry, man, God is great. He's the greatest leader and the greatest father that you'll ever have, the greatest example of who you need in your life to help you lead. And we must pray. We must pray because no one is greater than their prayer life. No one's greater. You can't lead greater than your prayer life, guys. Let's pray. Let's be involved in God, and God will guide us and help us and lead us so then we can lead others as well. I also believe we need to have accountability with other people in our leadership. Like, hey, are there things that I'm doing that are right and are wrong? If so, please tell me. What are things I'm doing wrong? What are things I'm doing well? We always want feedback from people. We don't want to think that we're just this amazing leader, but we don't have feedback from anybody to really help us, right? Two are better than one, Ecclesiastes says, and when one falls, man, the other can pick that person up. So we make mistakes in leadership, right? I'm sure everyone can attest we make mistakes in leadership, but to have somebody there as an accountability person is absolutely amazing. So I've already mentioned spending time with God, but Bible memorization is great. Be involved in community. Okay, to be an active leader, you need to be involved in community, be involved in a small group, be involved with friends. And if you've got trust issues or don't know how to develop habits or how to do some of these things, man, I hope you subscribe. I hope you stay tuned to other content that's going to come out, because I'm really excited about different things that I'm going to be sharing with you all as far as developing those habits, developing those leadership abilities, as well as understanding biblical scripture and passages of scripture even more to help you in those particular areas so you can navigate that. Okay. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again because it's my bottom line. Okay. And as a leader, okay, you don't produce what you say, you produce who you are. You don't produce what you say, you produce who you are. So my final thought are really 4 characteristics of a leadership. I've given you a lot of thoughts today. Okay. I've given you a lot of like one-liners, but here's like what I feel are 4 characteristics of a great leader. Number 1, genuine. Is just be very genuine, be authentic. I think people are looking for someone to be genuine, authentic. But that doesn't mean in your genuineness that you don't make mistakes, that you don't let people down from time to time, just because we're human beings. That happens, okay? But be genuine. Be genuine in the good times. Be genuine in the bad times. Just be genuine when no one's looking. Be the same person, because whether you admit it or not, whether someone's looking or not, God is always watching. He's always looking. The second thing is being trustworthy. Are you a person that people can trust? One of the greatest characteristics of a leader is to be trustworthy, that people can put their trust in you. Your word is true. They don't doubt what you say. They believe you, right? Like, you can mess up in what you say, but they know, man, because you're genuine, I can trust you, which is the second characteristic. The third characteristic is you care. Leaders care. They care in the difficult times. They care in the good times, right? I think a lot of times leaders care more in the bad times because they're like, man, this person really needs me, than they do in the good times where the person doesn't really need me. And I've failed at that, where I've kind of not stepped in as a leader that people needed me to be because they were doing good. And I just waited till they were doing bad. I didn't wait, but when something happened, that's when I struck. Now I'm learning, all right, well, I need to now while they're doing good, I need to be caring. I need to be checking in on them. I need to see, hey, what is it that I can do, right? Maya Angelou had this amazing, amazing quote, right? People will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel, right? They'll forget what you say. They may even forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that's, as leaders, we need to care for people that are around us. The last thing is to be consistent. Be consistent in these things. Be consistent in your genuineness, your trustworthiness, your caring. Be consistent. Be consistent in your daily habits. I know sometimes we have our ups and our downs depending on what happens right now. I know I'm dealing with that too, with the situation with my kidney right now, being diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. I mean, I was in the gym avidly every single day, putting on muscle and having protein, and I haven't been able to do that. But now I've had to form some other habits as well, because I also need to understand that particular habit, that crutch, right? I can use it as a crutch, and it can really bring me down if I don't have that in my life and in my world. But my foundation is in God. So if I lose this over here, it doesn't annihilate me, which it did before, right? But I'm building other habits now, and I will get back into the gym, right? Because I'm going to be consistent in that. I'm going to build that habit back. But I've had other habits that have also kept me afloat, and I've been disciplined in. And I just want to encourage you as a leader, as a person that wants to develop habits, as a person that wants to really grow in their character and behavior of a leader, to lead yourself well, set a goal for yourself, plan things out for you, journal, have weekly goals, have monthly goals, have yearly goals, right? Have goals that are laid out to a place where you hold yourself accountable and others can hold you accountable as well. One of the reasons why I'm doing this video is because I've told a couple people that I'm doing this, and they're going to hold me accountable to it. And so make sure you bring good people into your circle of influence to help you and to guide you and to navigate you. Lastly, and I say it again for the third time, you don't produce what you say, you produce who you are. You don't even produce what you say to yourself, okay? The power of life and death is in the tongue, so we need to speak positivity, but we need action behind words. Action behind words. If you're a dreamer, you need action behind the dream, okay? If there's no action behind dream, it stays a dream, okay? But, right, action without a dream can be a nightmare. Okay, so doing things without a dream and just kind of trying it out can be a nightmare. So I hope this has encouraged you. Again, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, and I hope that I get to see some of your comments and connect with you guys soon. See you soon.